really condensed version of a practice that could take much longer, and really it was quite difficult for me to compact all of this into one short practice, which really didn't end up being that short in the end. But all of these exercises you can do in your own time. You can incorporate them into your yoga practice, and feel free to reach out if anything comes up or if you have any uncertainties. As always, with all of my practices, remember that I'm just a guide. And so if something's not feeling okay, or if you have any uncertainty in your body moving through any of them, just don't do them. And if you want to reach out and ask questions before you do them, then please do. This can be quite an intense practice. And so I would really recommend that if something in your body is saying not now or not this, then listen to that and honor that. Don't expect that because I'm guiding something that this is knowing more than you, or what your body might have to tell you. Okay, my loves, so the practice starts with some exercises, which are some psycho-shamanic exercises given to me by my teacher, and then it moves into a yoga nidra practice for experiencing the manomaya kosha, or the emotional body that we may be having around our ancestry and the stories of our lineage. So may this bring you peace, may this bring you an awareness, and may it allow each of us to shine light in spaces where we may be unconscious of our own ancestral healing and pain and stories and joy as well. So much love, my friends. So coming to a standing position, you can spread your feet a little bit wide and just take a moment to ground down. You can roll the shoulders up and back, down along the spine. Closing the eyes if this feels comfortable for you, or having a soft gaze, not staring at anything in particular. Allowing the breath to become long and slow and steady. Feel your feet pressing against the earth. You can wiggle your toes. You can also kind of shift the weight from side to side, just connecting with the earth. Right now, the moon is in an earth element in Taurus. And so we're going to use this element of the earth to kind of support us as we move through and observe any sort of emotions that need to rise for us. So either wiggling your toes, feeling the gravity, shifting the weight around. You can also just provide a little bit of a bounce with the heels. Nothing hard, nothing dramatic, just a slight lifting, and then feeling the weight of your own body against the earth. Knowing that in these practices, noise is encouraged. Sighs, big breaths, moaning, anything that you need to do to help release. And again, we can start together to come into this place of bouncing the heels. Just very gently, very, very gently, bouncing the heels. They're maybe not even really coming off the earth. Just a slight tremor. And we can place our hands over the heart and continue this bouncing. It's connecting with the breath. Many different spiritual traditions, especially earth-based wisdom traditions, they believe that the heart itself has its own beat, its own heartbeat. And this is directly connected with the universe and the universal heartbeat. And we can feel as though, as we slightly tap our heels against the earth, keeping a nice bend in the knees, that we're connecting our heartbeat with the beat of the earth, with the beat of the universe, with our cosmic heartbeat, that beat which connects all of us, that beat that is one, regardless of body, regardless of location, regardless of mind or thoughts or belief systems. Breathing into this universal heartbeat. And slowly the feet can come to a place of stillness, just feeling that beat resonating from the base of the heels up through the backs of the legs into the spine. And the beat is reverberating up through the spine into the heart, expanding out to all of the cells in our body. We can drop our hands, bring our hands down to the sides, palm facing forward. See if you can still feel this beat, 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 pulsing through the blood, pulsing through every cell in your being. And you are the witness, purely observing this earth energy. And if it's in your practice, you can engage ujjayi, a slight restriction of the muscles in the back of the throat that makes the breath audible. It's the same muscles you engage if you were to go to fog up a glass or a mirror. Except we keep the mouth closed and we breathe solely through the nose. This pulls us into our parasympathetic nervous system, grounding us even further. Nice big belly breaths, fully filling and fully emptying the lungs with each inhalation and exhalation. And together we'll inhale the arms up and around. Bring them into a prayer overhead, gazing up at the prayer, shining the heart to the heavens, and then exhaling, we clear the energy around us, creating a sacred space for ourselves here. Inhaling, the hands rise. Exhaling, they come down. Continue at your own pace, connecting this movement with your breath. See if you can make it so that the breath happens before the movement. It's almost as though as we inhale, naturally the hands rise, and as we exhale, naturally the hands fall. And there's this moments of stillness between each inhalation and exhalation where the body is no longer moving. We're still for a moment with the hands up or with the hands down before the next breath begins. This beautiful inhalation and exhalation are somehow a symbol and a representation of the cycles of life, birth and death, and the pauses between each movement, the stillness which exists behind everything, beyond birth, beyond death, beyond good, beyond bad. 3 more big breaths. Moving with your own breath. And one more big inhalation, hands coming up overhead. Exhaling, now the hands come down through the center into prayer. They can rest in prayer in the heart space, or you can bring the palms over the hands and just take a second to set a sankalpa, an intention with me. I am loving awareness. 3 times. I am loving awareness. Repeat Repeating it once more, feeling as though this mantra is the absolute truth. Feeling it reverberating throughout the body, pumping through your blood, in your cells, in your lips, in every movement, in every breath. I am loving awareness. I witness my mind. I witness thoughts. I witness beliefs. I witness stories. I witness tension and relaxation in the body. I witness emotions. I witness the minds labeling them good and bad. I witness birth and death every day, in every moment. I am loving awareness. Not loving in the sense like storybook, prince and princess loving, not loving the way we might love a puppy, but rather a pure and wise loving. In Sanskrit, there are an infinite amount of words for love, because they had this understanding that love has many nuances, and the love that we're speaking here about is this unfaltering love, this silent love, this strong love, this love that is accepting of whatever appears, regardless of what the mind wants to call it. This is what we are. We are loving awareness, lovingly aware of all things that arise within our experience as a birth and fall out of our experience as a death. We have no investment in what we are witnessing. We have no intention for how things unfold. We, as loving awareness, trust life to go as it should. 3 big breaths here. I am loving awareness. Very good. From here, we're going to bring our hands down to our solar plexus. I like to make a knuckle with my right index finger. Some people like to push their thumb in. We're going to find a space, find where the ribs meet, and then go about 3 finger widths down from there. And push either your thumb or your knuckle into this area, and you'll find it's a little bit tender. And we're going to draw circles there in a clockwise direction. Breathing into this area. Again, you may need to move up or down, different fingers, different finger lengths, but you'll find a tender area, a place where it feels kind of delicate to touch, and we're going to draw these clockwise circles, almost as if our finger is an energetic cork, winding into the body. Here, a lot of emotion is stored. We might need to let out some sighs as we push into this area. Remembering that we don't need to understand or label whatever rises. We're just witnessing as this loving awareness. This energetic corkscrew winding into the body, touching on anything that we may be holding, unconscious of, some kind of repressed or ignored or emotions that we just don't like. We don't like it as a person. We don't like it as an individual self. As pure awareness, we have nothing but loving attention and acceptance for this. Still drawing those circles, winding it in. When you're ready, you can take that circle and draw it in a counterclockwise circle now, feeling as though we're pulling the emotion out. And again, any sort of sighs or big breaths that we need to do to release is only helpful. Counterclockwise circles, pulling these emotions into a space where they're open and welcome to express. Very good. And then taking our hands, we can shake our hands. Taking our body, we can shake the body. Very good. Coming to a place of stillness. Witnessing whatever's bubbling up here. Maybe even noticing the mind's tendency to want to push back down, to ignore. I am loving awareness. And we say this not as a way to disassociate from the experience, but rather to be completely present with the experience as witnessing. The witnessing within every cell, within every emotion. Very good. Now we're going to move into another practice for the fascia. So for a lot of us, when we experience emotional turmoil, we can hold that in our fascia. And a lot of the time that fascia, it tightens in the belly when we're slightly scared or when we are shocked. Then we have this moment where we tighten the belly and we hold, and if we don't give that tightening an opportunity to unwind and release, then we can often have difficulty with digestion or with any of the internal organs in this area. So this is a small practice to help to release the fascia in the area of the belly. So what you're going to do here is do your best to keep the sternum or the chest facing forward, and the right hip is going to swing forward, and then the left hip is going to swing forward. So we have this kind of rocking back and forth, and then slowly we pick up the speed once we feel we get that, going as fast as we feel comfortable. So again, trying your best. You can see that obviously my sternum is moving a little bit. I can't be completely still, but I'm focusing on keeping the sternums forward and just swinging the hips from side to side, almost like a hula hula dancer. And you may already start to feel some slight pangs in the belly. Keep it going, stay with your breath, keep pushing side to side. Going as fast as you can. And some people may need to do this practice longer than others, but stay with it, keep going, faster, faster, faster. Right hip, left hip, back and forth, forward and back, forward and back. Take a moment if you need to pause. Releasing. If you're still not feeling any tension, feel free to keep going. Sternum facing forward, right hip, and then left hip. Taking a break if you need. And then returning to another round. Sternum facing forward, hips shaking side to side. Go as fast as you can. Keep it up, side to side. And returning to stillness. Again, you can keep going if you feel you can or if you need. You can can place your hands on the belly. Big inhales and big exhalations with a sigh. Feel free to stick out the tongue. One more round. Going at your own pace or as fast as you really can. Keeping the sternum forward, hips sliding from side to side. Keep it up. Make sure you have a nice bend in the knees as you're doing this. And I find it's helpful to keep the elbows bent. And really, we're almost trying to bring the right hip and the left hip to the front as fast as we can, side to side. Very good. Coming back to stillness. Placing the hands on the belly if you need. You can shake it out too at any time. This is just a way to come back to the body. And if you feel that things are ever becoming too much for you, you can always return to this very simple grounding practice of inhaling the hands up, exhaling the hands down. Taking space to just purely witness whatever's here. Taking a slightly wider stance with the legs, we can turn the feet out to the corners of the mat. Take a big inhalation, and we're going to stick the pinky side of our hands into the cracks of the hips and push the hips away from the spine. So my shoulders are kind of up around my ears, but that's okay because I'm using the length of my arms to push the hips down. The hips are another place where we're storing a lot of emotions. We're holding the breath as we do this, and then exhaling, rising back up. Take a moment to breathe. And then on your next inhalation, pinkies on the insides of the hips, right by the hip and the thigh where they meet, and pushing down. Hold the breath. Exhale, release, and rise. We'll do one more of these. Big inhalation, exhale, coming down. Sorry, holding the breath on an inhalation. Maybe you want to do that again. Inhale and hold. Exhaling, we rise, coming back up. Knowing you can always shake it out or go back to this centering practice with the breath and the hands, or just rest here. Don't move. Just simply observe. Stepping the feet together at the top of the mat. Bringing the hands to heart center. Inhale, we'll raise those hands up. Exhaling, we'll swan dive forward. Hang out for a moment, connect back with this grounding energy. Shake out the hands if you need. Bend the knees as much as you need in order to bring those hands down to the ground. Big sighs. Fully inhaling and exhaling into the belly here. Releasing the muscles in the neck and the head, just hanging forward. And then then bending the knees, bringing the glutes down to the heels. We can just fall down onto our bum. Allow the feet to come together and the knees to flop out to the sides. The toes are turned away from each other, and if you'd like, you can just kind of flap the wings here. Another opening in the hips. Find your breath. And on an inhalation, you can imagine your breath traveling down into the hips, clearing out any cobwebs on an exhale. Inhaling, the breath travels to the hips, creates space. Exhaling, releasing. A few more big belly breaths like this. Very good. Bringing your leg in. We're going to find a point on the foot. So between the big toe and the second toe, move your finger up and you'll kind of find that there's this squishy space between the toes, and then there's a point where it kind of becomes bony. And somewhere just before that bony part, for me it's about a finger's width, just before the bony part, there's a very tender area. And we're just going to slightly massage here. This is an area that's known to hold a lot of rage, a lot of anger, a lot of aggression. And we can, of course, use our breath as the finger just kind of pulses in this area. Or really, you can close your eyes and just intuitively massage this space however you feel you need. Three more big breaths. And when you're ready, we're going to switch over just to the opposite foot. Walking the index finger up to that same place, kind of finding where the bony area is. So it's squishy between the big toe and the second toe, all the way up, and then we find a boniness, and maybe we even find that tender place first. And we find that tender area, and we just pulse on it. Or as I said, intuitively massaging that area, however feels right for you. And using our breath as a way to release. Closing the eyes if this feels comfortable for you. Breathing into that tenderness. And you can feel free to push quite deeply if necessary. Two more big breaths. Slowly you can release and come right down onto your back into a corpse pose or shavasana. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you can also sit in a cross-legged position or any position that's just really relaxed for you. Preferably lying on the ground or in a chair where you can support your back and just release the body now. Take a big, full inhalation, completely filling the lungs. Hold the breath for a moment. And then exhale, release. One more, and this time as we inhale, squeeze all of the muscles in your body. Everything's tight, including your face, your glutes, your toes. Hold the breath and exhale, release. One more, make it a big one. Inhale, squeeze. Allowing your feet to flop out to the sides, palms turned up to the sky, shoulders are rolled back and down. You can pull a blanket over the body, an eye pillow over the eyes, whatever you need to just fully sink in. Remembering that you can return to your own internal resources at any time throughout this practice. So if you have a specific area in your body where you know you feel safe, maybe the heart, maybe the hands, maybe the feet, maybe the spine, or you have a particular memory which nourishes your soul, or maybe a mantra that you like to repeat. Know that all of these resources are here for you at any time throughout this practice. Becoming aware now of the big toe on the left foot, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, pinky toe, bottom of the left foot, top of the left foot, left ankle bones, left heel, the back of the left leg, the front of the left leg, the left knee, the left thigh, glute, hip, pelvis. Awareness of the whole left leg. The whole left leg lying on the ground. Awareness of the big toe on the right foot. Second toe. Third toe. Fourth toe. Fifth toe. Bottom of the foot. Top of the foot. Right ankle bones, right heel, back of the right leg, front of the right leg, right knee, right thigh, right glute, hip, pelvis. Awareness of the whole right leg, the whole right leg lying on the ground. Awareness of the belly, chest, collarbones. Awareness of the front of the torso. Awareness of the lower back, middle back, shoulder blades. Awareness of the whole back of the torso. Front of the torso, back of the torso. Awareness of the whole torso lying on the ground. Thumb on the left hand, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger, palm of the left hand, back of the left hand, left lower arm, left elbow, left upper arm, left shoulder, awareness of the whole left arm, the whole left arm lying on the ground, awareness of the right thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky, palm of the right hand, back of the right hand, right lower arm, right elbow, right upper arm, right shoulder, awareness of the whole right arm, the whole right arm lying on the ground, chin, lower lip, upper lip, inside of the mouth, tongue, teeth, left cheek, right cheek, left cheekbone, right cheekbone, left side of the nose, right side of the nose, the nasal passage, left eyebrow, left eyelids, left eye, right eyebrow, right eyelids, right eye, forehead, left ear, right ear, left side of the head, right side of the head, back of the head, top of the head, awareness of the whole head and face, the whole head and face lying on the ground. Become aware of your whole body, the whole body lying on the ground. Bring now to your mind's eye your matrilineal lineage. That is all of the ancestors that you know, starting with your mother, and then her parents, and their parents, and so on like this. You can visualize your mother as you know her now. You can think of her as a child. Where was she living? What was the world that she knew? Moving to your mother's parents. Where did they live? What did they do? What was the world that they knew? And moving back from here to their parents, where they lived, what their life was like, how they may have perceived the world. Taking this time now to call upon any specific beings in your matrilineal lineage, that is the lineage on your mother's side, that you feel need specific healing, compassion, or understanding. Bringing them to your mind's eye, holding them in your heart, taking a moment to recognize that all of these beings exist within your body. Their story is your story. now to your patrilineal lineage, visualizing your father, experiencing the world through his eyes. Where did he live? Who did he know? How did he perceive the world? Moving to your father's parents. Where did they live? What did they know? What did they practice? What were their wants and desires? And moving on to their parents, if you knew them, or even just the essence or energy of them. Where they may have come from, practices that they may have had, their beliefs about the world. And then calling forward on your father's side, any particular being in your patrilineal lineage that you feel needs understanding or compassion or to be felt and heard. Seeing if you can feel them in your body, the stories of your ancestors. Can you feel where there's a holding and where there's a softness in your body? Where was their power? Where was their weakness? What can you learn from in order to find your own resilience? What can you learn from in order to do better? What needs to be healed? What needs to be held? Where have you been turning away from your own ancestry, your own story? And in doing so, turning away from a part of yourself? Can you find a holding in your belly? A resistance to this pointing? Just notice it. Noticing where it may exist in the body. Noticing what emotions arise. And allowing yourself to fully feel what's here. Taking as much time as you need, going as slowly as you can through your lineage, through your body, through the pain and pleasures of being an incarnation of your ancestry on the earth today. Where do you feel their echoes inside of you, asking you to do or not to do better, to step up, to step back? Feeling now compassion for all of your ancestors. Feeling as though they are surrounding you and supporting you and encouraging you. knowing that they're always here. Taking a big breath in and a big breath out of the mouth. You can do any sort of shaking that you need. Rolling onto one side and then slowly coming up into a seated position if you haven't yet done so. Thank you so much for sharing in this practice with me and doing this really important work for yourself and for your ancestors and for your blood and your future generations. Know that you can return to this practice whenever you need, and really that this practice has been sped up quite a bit, and so you can do this on your own much more slowly, or you can do it again through my guidance. But know that this work takes time and patience. May you find love, may you be love, may you share love. Namaste, my friends.